STS. So as we all know, STS stands for short-term studentship. It is an ICMR initiative that was started around 3.5 decades ago. And the main purpose of starting this type of fellowship, short-term studentship for medical and dental students was to invigorate interest of research among the undergraduate students, and also to help them if they later chose to have a career in research, or if they want to choose the faculty job. So before not without taking much time, I would just like to just inform that if any of the participants have any questions, they can put their questions in the inbox and in the chat box, and I request the participants to leave their email ID in the chat box so that they can be informed later if any such academic activities are conducted. So I would now request the first speaker, Dr. Amit Rukadikar, Associate Professor, Department of Microbiology, AIIMS Gorakhpur. So he would be talking about the registration process and how to initiate the process of STS. Dr. Amit, please.
So thank you, ma'am, for your kind words. So before I'll be starting my talk, I just want to thank you, the members of ASSOPI UP chapter and the team of the Physiology Insight, for giving me an opportunity to talk on this topic, STS 2022. I'll be just sharing the screen. Just let me know whether you are being able to see my presentation here.
Yes, the presentation is visible.
Okay, so with no time, I'll be starting with this topic, STS 2022, registration to the topic selection. Okay, so in this session, we are going to just discuss why there is a need of a STS project. Then we are going to see for the application process, what are the steps which we have to go while applying for the STS registration, mainly including your part A, part B, part C, and D. Then what are the different types of studies and the subject area which are being already given by ICMR STS, in which the projects can be initiated. Then technical help we are going to see, and lastly a take-home message regarding your registration and your proposal submission. So just to start with why we require STS. Okay, so STS already STS is basically a short-term studentship research, and research you already know it's nothing but creating a new knowledge, new ideas, new innovations, new creativity. And just to sensitize with all this to the younger generation, the ICMR and Department of Health Research have initiated this STS project in the year 1979, just to promote the interest for the research among the medical undergraduates, to provide an opportunity to understand the research methodology and techniques, then incentives to take up research as a career in the future. Okay, so apart from it, there are some advantages for STS, taking the STS project. One very important is you're going to get a certification from a very premier institution like ICMR if your project is being selected. Obviously, it is going to increase the weightage of your CV when you're going to apply for various jobs and opportunities. And the preference is definitely going to be given to the students who have been exposed for this research and projects in various countries when you're going to apply abroad for your higher studies and jobs. So example is USMLE and PLAB. So we all are aware of it. So during this last 37 years, medical dental undergraduate students of various MCI, DCI recognized medical and dental colleges in the countries have shown keen interest in this ICMR STS program. So therefore, this ICMR has decided to continue with this program by awarding a very limited number of studentship to deserving MBBS and BDS students for the year 2022 also. So for this year, approximately 1,500 students, 1,200 from MBBS and 300 from the BBS, they will be awarded STS after report submission and after the review for the year 2022. Now, as far as the eligibility is concerned, the MBBS, this is basically a course for the MBBS and BBS students. Okay. So these students are eligible for go with this STS project, and right from your first year to final year, any of the student can apply for this STS project. But the criteria is that they have to be applying before appearing in the final exam. Okay. So once they are going to appear in the final exam, they are out of this application. So the criteria will be before appearing the final examinations, and the award, if the report is being approved by or accepted by ICMR, is you are going to get 50,000 rupees because it's basically a 2 months project to be done by the student, and they're going to give 25,000 per month for 2 months. So total 60,000 amount will be received as a stipend for the student only after final selection of his or her STS. So these are some of the eligibility criteria and the reward which we are going to get after selection of our project by ICMR. So how you are going to go with the application process? Okay. Now, application process, mainly it is being divided into 4 parts. One part A deals with your online registration, which already it has been initiated. It has been started by 21st of January, and it has to be, and it is going to be closed by 11th of February 2022 by 5 p.m. So online registration is must now. Part B deals with your guide detail under which you are going to initiate the project. Part C deals with your enclosures and attachment, which has to be given during the proposal submission. Part D includes your research proposal submission, and these part B to D, they have to be uploaded by 21st of February 2022 by 5 p.m. So just see the registration, student has to get it registered if interested by 11th of February 2022 by 5 p.m. So first coming with the online registration, that is the part A. So mainly this online registration is being divided into 3 parts. One is your login detail part, second is your course detail part, and third is your personal detail. So in this login detail, initially the student have to just register his or her email ID, mobile number, and a alternate email ID. Okay. So this is the part login detail. Just remember, whatever the email ID you are going to give, that is the final email ID. After that, nothing is going to be changed. So just remember, you have to be very, very particular while you are being giving your email ID. Okay. Second comes your course detail, where the name of the student, right from your first name, middle name, and last name have to be entered, all in the caps. Then date of joining a MBBS or a BBS course, the day, the month, and the year, the state in which you are being studying, the college which you are being belonging, then the class, whether it's a MBBS or a BBS, and a year of this one, whether you are being a first year, second year student, or a third year. So this has to be entered, then name of the college, the address of the college, city, and the corresponding pin code of that city has to be entered very meticulously. So this completes with your course detail. So first was your login detail, second was your course detail, third comes with your personal detail. In that, just you have to enter whether it's a male or a female, gender, we have to enter it, the nationality, the date of the birth, the state or the home he belongs to, the residential address, city, pin code, alternate mobile number if you have been having, and residential telephone if you have been having. So these these things you have to fill in the personal detail. So once you fill your login detail, once you fill your course detail, and once you fill your personal detail and just submit it, you are going to get this type of acknowledgement from the ICMR. Okay, so this will be your acknowledgement of your successful registration for STS 2022, and the login ID, password, and the reference ID. So these 3 will be sent on your email which you have been registered. So this will be your acknowledgement from the ICMR for the successful registration. Now coming to after getting successful registration, second part or a part B deals with the guides under which you are going to carry out the project. So these are the details which you have to fill under part B, that is a guide detail. So full name of the guide has to be entered, the designation, the name of the department, the state, the name of the college, the address of the guide for the correspondence, the state, city, pin code, the mobile number of the guide, the telephone number of the residence or office, and the email ID. So these are all must things which you have to fill in the part B as a guide detail. So as you all know, only a regular full-time faculty members are eligible to undertake this project. So this is a mandatory criteria laid down by STS ICMR that only regular full-time faculty members have to be there. No part-time are involved. Okay, and the ratio has to be 1:1. So 1 student for 1 guide, 2 students for 1 guide, it is going to get rejected. So 1:1 ratio has to be maintained. ICMR has given that liberty to have a co-guide for the project, but it is ultimately the guide who is going to be decided by the ICMR, or who is going to be considered by ICMR. Now part C comes with your enclosure and attachment. So what enclosures we have to upload while submitting the proposal. So this deals with your part C, enclosure and attachment. So first and foremost enclosure you have to upload is the application attestation form. So when you are being registered and when you are going to submit the proposal, along with the proposal, it is a AAF form, that is the application attestation form, which has to be compulsorily submitted. So on the right side, you'll be seeing the application attestation form for STS 2022. So you have to fill all these details. The photograph of the student should be pasted on the right side. The reference ID, which that student is going to get received in the email, the name of the student, the name of the guide, the name of the college, the title of the STS proposal, everything has to be mentioned here. If you see down, the signature of the guide, the details of the guide, the signature of the head of the department and signature of the head of the institution, along with either a stamp or a seal, has to be there. So until and unless if it is not, the project or the application is definitely going to be rejected. So just remember, this AAF form is very, very important. You have to fill every detail, and there has to be a stamp of your head of the department and the head of the institution. Once it is being filled, it has to be converted into a PDF form. Size is up to 1 MB. So just remember this, everything what you are going to upload, that has to be in the PDF form. Okay. Now next comes with the ethical committee approval. So it is not obligatory at the time of proposal submission. Okay. So ethical approval you can take afterwards. At the time, it is not mandatory to upload it or to submit it, but yes, it is mandatory when you are going to submit the report. So it is advisable to get your ethical clearance done by May 2022. Why? Because if a project is being selected, you will be able to get a sufficient time for completion of your research. Okay. So that is being required at the time of report submission. Informed consent form, if you are being involving a human participant, it has to be done. Case study form or a study questionnaire if your project is a questionnaire based. So these forms, right from your ethical, informed, case and study questionnaire, it is not obligatory to submit at the time of proposal submission. But yes, application attestation form has to be there. Now, how do I get this attestation form from the website? So if you open this website, you'll be getting an application submission STS 2022 on the left side. You click here and you'll be getting a drop down menu. And in this download, you'll be able to get this application attestation form. Okay. Apart from this, IEC and IAEC, that is the Animal Ethical Committee approval, has to be obtained before beginning actual research work. And the certificate may be submitted either along with the proposal or with the report, along with the informed consent. And for this, these guidelines has to be followed. Okay, so National Ethical Guidelines for Biomedical and Health Research on Human Participant, year 2017, you have to just see for the guidelines. As discussed, all the documents has to be in a PDF up to 1 MB. Apart from it, no Word and no JPG files will be accepted by the ICMR. Part D comes with your actual research proposal. So this is a part D where you have to submit the title of your interest, the type of a study in which you are going to conduct this project, the subject area. So these are already been given. Then the name of the department under which you are going to carry out the project and the research proposal. So the research proposal has to be made by these guidelines. So title has to be 25 words, introduction 300, objectives 100, methodology 800, implications 100, and references 300 words with a bank question. So when you are being preparing this research proposal, it has to be in this sequence only. Okay. Now, this is a type of study under which the research project can be initiated, like clinical investigations, epidemiological investigations, field operation research, health education, lab investigations, etc. If you see on the right side, the subject areas have been mentioned. Almost every subject is being included by ICMR STS, under which the research projects can be initiated. But one thing you just remember, when you have been preparing the research proposal, there should not be having any identifying information, neither of the student nor of the guide. Okay, this is just for your unbiased review by review. If you put your name and address, telephone, email ID, obviously it is automatically going to get cancelled. So just remember, when you have been preparing for your research proposal, your reference ID has to be mentioned. And along with this, the other formalities has to be completed, but there should not be any disclosure of any identity, neither of the student, neither of the guide. So after submitting all these things, you will be getting this in the PDF file, which will be containing your registration details, which you have entered with the course details, personal details. Part B will be a guide detail. Part C will be the attachment you have given at the time of proposal submission. And part D regarding the proposed details. So this is a PDF you are going to get when you submit the proposal. So if in case any query appears, any error happens while uploading all these things, the ICMR has given this email ID and the contact number and the authorized persons who will be dealing with the particular scientific queries, technical support, administrative support, for dealing with this problem. Okay, so these is already been uploaded and on the ICMR STS website. You can just go through it. So lastly, a take-home message, just remember, just get registered by 11th of February 2022. Your proposal submission can be submitted by 21st of February 2022 by 5 p.m. Once it is being submitted, the ICMR is going to evaluate all the projects which they are going to receive by 21st of February 2022. The list of the selected candidates will be probably going to display by end of February, end of April or first week of May. Then after the list is being displayed, the student has to complete their project in any of the 2 given months between May to September 2022. The last date of report submission is the 29th of October 2022. Once the reports are being submitted by 29th of October, that reports will be evaluated by ICMR. And after that, 1,500 students will be awarded with the stipend and the certificate. So tentative 1,200 from the MBBS and 300 from the BBS. Okay. So just remember, any registration, application and the proposal submission or any such request will not be entertained by ICMR under any circumstances after the last date or the time is over. So just remember, it has to be within the approved date and the time. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Atul, for such a succinct introduction to the registration process. Now I would request second speaker, Dr. Charushila Rukadikar. She is currently working as assistant professor in the Department of Physiology at AIIMS Gorakhpur. And she would be telling about the research, about selection of the topic and research proposal. Dr. Charushila.
Kindly unmute
Yes,
yourself.
Thank you, ma'am, for your kind words. And here with
1 minute. Charu, I would like to interrupt you.
Yes, sir.
I would like to welcome Dr. Professor Narsingh Verma sir and Sunita Tiwari ma'am, who have joined us in the house.
Yes.
Welcome, sir,
Welcome,
and
ma'am.
welcome, ma'am.
Welcome, sir. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello. Yeah, you can proceed, Charu.
Okay. So thank you, Association of Physiologists of India, UP chapter, for giving me the opportunity to put up my topic on this platform. So already we have covered Dr. Atul sir have clearly explained the topic. That is, what are the STS projects, what are the application forms, and the timeline. So it makes my job very much easy. That now my role is to tell the undergraduate students about the STS research proposal. Okay, so this part D, that is how you are going to write this STS research proposal, which include the topic selection, title, introduction, aims, objective, methodology, implications, references, and plagiarism. Okay, so this all part, how we are going to deal with this is my role. So already sir have discussed that from 21st Jan to 21st Feb, this is the time limit you have to upload this research proposal. So let's start how you are going to do this. So first thing is that, dear friends, that there are the two lists on the ICMR website. First is the list of the type of studies, and second one is the subject areas. Okay, so my request is just go through these two lists first, then enlist the topics of your interest, because you are going to do the research on this. Then with this list, meet your guide, discuss your ideas with your guide, and then narrow down your topics. Okay, now how you are going to narrow down the things. Okay, so first thing, we will discuss that what are the type of studies which are given by the ICMR website. The list which I was talking about, the two lists on the ICMR website. So first list is that is the type of studies. So the clinical investigations, when one or more human subjects are involved, and to assess the safety, clinical performance, or effectiveness of the medical device. These all are included in the clinical investigation studies. There are epidemiological investigations, like how the disease is caused, how it is transmitted, how the outbreak investigations, or the environmental epidemiology. So these all which are related with the epidemiology, these are included into the epidemiological investigations. There are some scientific based researches for the management and problem solving of the major diseases like the TB, HIV. So these are the field operation research. Some awareness creating research like the health education sector research. Some lab investigation research like the, all the lab investigations like the CBC, DSL, HB1, A1AC. So these all are the basic things which I'm going to telling you, that these all are the type of studies. There are the healthcare product preparation. There are the therapies. Either it may be the pharmacological, either it may be the non-pharmacological. So these therapy and management studies. So you can do the STS ICMR project from any of these topics. Apart from this, if you are thinking something out of the box, don't limit yourself, think about it, and just mention what is the type of study you are doing. There is only one limitation, that is the clinical trial. What do you mean by this clinical trial? That you are inventing a new drug or new medical device, new vaccine, or any surgical procedure or medical procedure, medical treatment. So as the undergraduates, you are starting your research. So the clinical trials are not accepted by the STS ICMR. So just go through this type of studies. Then second part, if you can see this list from the A to Z, almost anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, micro, patho, FMT, then medicine, surgery, OBGY, PEDS, then traditional medicine. For the dentist students also, there are the oral health, then pediatric dentistry. So all are the topics This all freedom is given by the ICMR. These all subjects areas you can cover. But my suggestion is that just imagination is the highest form of research. So don't limit yourself. Just think of all the topics and then enlist the topics and meet the guide. Okay. Now the question is that how to narrow down the topics. So dear students, just see that take one example. That world is made up of the different countries, of the different states, of the different districts, of the different societies. And the last point, the center middle point is that the center point of this is the human being. So if you can see from the world, we are coming towards the human being. So the things are narrowing down. The same way, same thing you apply for the research. Let's take one example. Suppose that if you are thinking about the obesity, this is a one broad area. Okay, now what you can do in the obesity, as you all know that obesity affects all the systems. So just take the example of the CVS, RS or ANS. Pick up one system from this. In that system also, you have the multiple options. Like if you take ANS, there are the sympathetic and parasympathetic system. So from this, again, if you can go for the test, so there are the different type of stress, like the Valsalva maneuver, cold pressure test, heart rate measurement, heart rate variability. So suppose that you have pick up one test and then in whom you are going to do this. What will be your selection criteria? So student, patient, school, college going students. So you will fix up one age group and then your topic will be you are calculating or seeing the effect of this Valsalva maneuver on the college going obese students. So from this obesity, you are narrowing down towards your particular topic, that is the Valsalva maneuver effect on this college going obese students. Okay, so this is one idea which I'm giving you. Let's say you have decided the topic. Now we need to go for the research question. That's what you are going to do. This is the start point of your study. Whenever you have decided the topic, just go through this finer criteria for the good research question. Finer means F stand for the feasibility. Do you have the adequate number of sample size? Do you have the technical expertise if you're going to do some investigation? Is your topic is interesting? Because guys, just see that in the MBBS and in the BDS, there are the almost 10,000 applications are there for the STS ICMR projects. Okay, so from this, almost 1,500 students are getting selected for the report writing. Okay, so if your idea must be interesting or it should catch the interest of the reviewer. Okay, so try to insert your unique ideas also. Is it a novel study that whether it confirms, refutes, or extend the previous finding that exercise is beneficial for the physical health? So is your data is confirming the same thing? So is it novel? Is it ethical? Because ultimately your institutional review board is going to approve your study. So just maintain this criteria of the ethical committee. Then is it relevant to the scientific knowledge, to the clinical and health policy, and to the future research? So it should be useful. So whenever you have decided the topic, once again, go through this finer criteria and finalize the topic. Suppose that you have finalized the topic. Now you need to go for the proper title. How you are going to give the title. Always remember that largest group of readers are the title. Ek baar title dekh liya, then they will think that whether I should read the whole abstract synopsis or not. So it should be the simple but catchy. It should be short but also informative. The purpose and the key factor of the study should be explained by your title. As per the ICMR, it gives the 25-word title. Okay, 25 words can be included into your title. So it is almost one sentence. Okay, so you should include this. How you are going to make the standard title? Follow this PICOT criteria. Now this criteria, P stands for the population. So enumerate what population you are going to include in the study. Include the intervention which you are going to do. Include the comparison group if you are going to compare in between the two groups. What is the outcome of interest? What you are going to measure, what you are going to evaluate, what you are going to see the effect, and if possible, include the timeline. Okay, so this Picot criteria follow this Picot criteria for the title preparation or title framing. As the Atul sir have already told, that don't include the name of your college, name of your area into this title or any part of the synopsis. Okay, so just remember that. Now, what things we should avoid? Do not capitalize all the words. Do not use the acronyms, phrases, lesser known abbreviations, or unnecessary filler words in the title. Do not make it lengthy. Though ICMR told it that you should do it up to the 25 words. But if your title is of the 15 to 20 words also, then also it is acceptable. So unnecessary, do not fill the words and make it lengthy. For example, there is one example that effectiveness of the hepatitis B treatment. So included the hepatitis B treatment. HIV infected adolescent. So included the population also and disease also. Outcome, that is in the prevention of the liver disease, and a cross-sectional study. So in this way, prepare a standard title. After title, you are going to write the introduction. My suggestion is that before writing the introduction, answer these 5 W's to yourself. Take a plain paper and answer these 5 W's. Why, who, what, where, and when. Why do you choose this topic? Who are the information providers? What are the major questions? Where your topic is important? Local level, national level, international level? When your topic was important? Are you doing the retrospective study or you are doing the present study? Okay, so answer these questions and then start writing the introduction. Keep it concise and to the point. Okay, so just try to make the 3 paragraphs. First paragraph, what is currently known regarding your topic? Start a brief introduction. What is your study? What is the importance? Here, you have to clearly state the research question or the hypothesis. In the second paragraph, provide the rationale behind the work, describe the experimental design. Do not explain all the methodology in this. Just describe what are the tests you are going to do. What is the standard procedure? Okay, in brief. Specify the gaps in the existing knowledge and the controversy with the references. Okay, here we are talking about the scientific aspects. So everything, whatever you are writing, give the scientific authentic references for this. Okay, and the last paragraph, third paragraph, is about the overview. Now tell the reader what your topic means, the bigger picture in the area of research. Okay, so in this way, you can write the introduction. Now here also you have to take some precautions, like do not make the spelling or grammatical errors. Do not use the abbreviations or acronyms. Do not make the repetitions that in the first paragraph you are telling the same thing again in the second. Do not repeat it. Again, do not include the content which is not covered into the rest of the proposal. Suppose that you are not including one methodology, like you are not including the BP measurement, and you are including that methodology or that thing into the introduction. Do not include it. Okay, so we have covered the topic selection, title, and introduction part. I hope this is clear to you. Let's move on towards the aims, objective, and methodology. So first of all, there is a lot of confusion in between the students that what should write in the aims and what should write in the objectives. So aim is a short and general statement of your intent. And objectives are the specific statements that define the practical steps you will take to achieve your aim. Okay, so these are the specific statements. Here you have to follow this SMART criteria. That is the specific. So you should be specific. Measurable. It should be measurable. That either qualitative or either quantitative data, but it should be measurable. Okay, it should be achievable. Okay, because you have the resources in your institutes. So with these resources, it should be achievable. Okay, it should be realistic because you are going to do this STS project along with your academic career. Okay, your academic college duration. So with this, you have to able to do this project. So it should be realistic and it should be time bound. Okay, so always whenever you are writing this aims and objective, just try to follow this SMART criteria. So how to write it? pinpoint the major focus, then break down it into the research objective. Be concise, keep the number of objectives limited. Use action verbs that this study want to determine this, want to correlate in between these two things, want to compare in between these two groups. Okay. Last but most important thing, that proofread it and review your objectives, because once you are reading your aims and objectives, then you are getting the what are the mistakes and what you can modify. So in this way, after aims and objectives, the most important part is, and most lengthy part, that is the methodology. ICMR says that write almost 800 words, that is 60 to 80 sentences you have to write. Now what you should include in it? So as per the ICMR, you should include the type of study, study design, study population, sample size, statistical tools, selection criteria, what you are going to do, your intervention, research instrument, data collection procedure, quality control, confidentiality, and the ethical consideration. Okay, so you should include all these parameters in the methodology. One thing that is what are the type of study and study design. Okay, so first year students might not knowing these all things. So in the second year, in the community medicine, you will study this in detail. So if there is any exposure, then this study will be the experimental, and if not, it will be the observational study. As there are no clinical trials are allowed for the STS ICMR, most of the studies are the observational studies. So if you are going to do the comparison group, then it will be the analytical studies. Okay, you can see here, if you are going to compare in between the groups, then there will be the analytical study, which can be the case control, cross-sectional, and cohort. If not, there are the descriptive studies. It depends on if you are going to do the retrospective study, or at present that exposure and outcome at the same time, or in future study, that is prospective study, that now there is exposure and what will be the outcome. Okay, on this basis, this division is there, that is the case control, cross-sectional, and cohort. You need to just enumerate that my proposal or my study is this type of study in your synopsis. The study population, which target population which you are selecting for the study. So from that target population, what will be your study population? And from this study population, what will be your sample? Okay, and who will be your samples? Okay, so this should be mentioned in the research proposal. Third part is the sample size. Okay, many students feel that in my batch there are the 100 students, so I'm going to study on this 100 students. Okay, so this is not the ready-made value. First, make it very clear. Okay, it should be find out through the formula. Okay, so there will be the scientific formula, and this is one example which I'm giving you from the prevalence, how the sample size is calculated. Okay, and there are the statistical tools also, that there are some statistical tests that how you are going to compare that this thing is more or this thing is less, or this is good, this is bad. Okay, so this comparison, which there are the different tests for this, like paired t-test, ANOVA test, when there are the 3 groups. Okay, there are some softwares also which we can use, that is the SPSS or Microsoft Excel software. I know that you are going to confuse that how you are getting the type of study or sample size or statistical analysis, because if you are not studied this, how to get it? First option is the go meet the guide. Second, if you still want the guidance, go and meet the statistician of your college. Third, take a guidance from the community medicine department. And if not, still you are not satisfied, there are the multiple softwares on the Google. That is the one example is the PASS software. Okay, but don't get upset or don't afraid of these all things. These all things, if you are a first year student, your guide can provide all these things to you, but at least make a mindset that these things you should include into the methodology. You have to just enumerate one line regarding all these things. Okay, but if you are not mentioned this, then it will be difficult for the selection purpose. Coming towards the selection criteria, which maintains the validity and homogeneity of the study. Suppose that you have included all the MBBS students, so you will get the lakhs of the samples. Okay, so too much inclusion and too much exclusion always affect the study. Okay, so make a concise and proper inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria. For example, there is one study that is the inclusion and exclusion criteria for the cross-sectional multicentric study of the patients with the COPD. So in the inclusion criteria, age is mentioned, diagnosis of the COPD is mentioned, one spirometrical test is mentioned, history of the smoking or non-smoking which is mentioned, and stable disease or not, it is mentioned in the inclusion criteria. Now, exclusion will be any other chronic respiratory disorder, any other disease which affect the patient to participate in the study, and refusal to give the informed consent. Okay, so in this way, you have to make the inclusion criteria and the exclusion criteria. What you are going to do, that you have to enumerate or explain in the proposed intervention. Suppose that you are going to do the BP measurement in the patient, then you have to explain it. If you are going to study the yoga, effect of the yoga, then if you are giving the sessions of the yoga and then you are saying the pre effect and post effect, then you have to mention that intervention. For this all things, what is the research instrument you are using? Let's suppose that if you want to do the BP, then sphygmomanometer. If you are going to do the hand grip test, then dynamometer. So you have to enumerate, then you have to enumerate the details which already the brochure of that instrument have all the details. So mention the important points from that. Suppose that you are doing the study of the survey based, then the questions. So the questionnaire will be your research instrument. Okay. So in this way, you have to mention it, that you have to enumerate about the data collection procedure. As you know, there are the two types of data: quantitative, qualitative. Quantitative means you can count it. Qualitative, you cannot count it. You can just like the feelings, emotion, perceptions. Okay, so there are the Likert scale like things through which you can measure this. Okay, so it can be done by the observation if it is quantitative. Then it can be done by the open-ended surveys, questionnaires, interviews, focal group discussions. So what is it? It is totally depend on your topic, that what you are going to do and what will be the data collection procedure. Okay, then quality control. Ensure the quality and accuracy of the data. Okay, that is the what do you mean by this maintaining this? That calibration of the instrument, or if you are using the questionnaire, then validation of that questionnaire. Now, what do you mean by validation? That suppose that you are using the questionnaire and you have prepared the questions, so you have to show it to your guide. Also, you have to take opinion of the subject experts, and then as per the modifications, then revisions, you are finalizing this questionnaire, and this is called as a validation. Okay, if you are using the already standardized questionnaire, then you have to take the permission from the main original source. How you are going to maintain the confidentiality of the data, that you have to mention. And the last point, that ethical consideration, that on which basis or the principles that guide the research. Okay, how you are going to get it. So in every college, there is an institutional ethical committee, and there are the different formats. It depends on the college to college. Okay, so you have to go to the IEC committee, and then you have to apply for the IEC committee as per the protocol or as per the format. For this purpose, you can meet the guide also, you can meet the IEC committee also. I would suggest that as you have submitted this synopsis, then the same way you apply for the institutional ethical committee, because the meeting will be held, and then you are getting the permission after presentation. So for this purpose also, be aware that as already Atul sir have discussed, that you have to get the permission later, and the date is, I think, from the up till the May. So now it is the January. So in the February, if you apply, then the presentation will be there, and you will get it before May. Okay. So in the methodology, again, what not to do. Okay. So do not summarize or abbreviate the methods without giving the full details. And the second thing is that do not presume that you will always remember all the things. So write the methodology in detail. Because why? Because you are giving the synopsis, and after this research, you can also replicate or expand this study, or anyone else also can replicate it. So for this purpose, you have to give the in-depth methodology, okay, so that someone can repeat it or replicate it. So in this way, you have to mention starting from the type of study to the ethical consideration. In every section, if you mention 2-3 lines, you can complete this 60 to 80 sentences methodology part. Okay, but remember that these are the most things for the research proposal. Okay, so we have seen the from topic selection to methodology, and now the last part, that implication and references. Okay, so implication means that what you are gaining, or the research implication that which suggests how the findings are important for the policy, practice, or theory or subsequent research. Okay, it can be short term, it can be long term. Let's take example that why we all are connected here. Okay, from this session, what you are going to get, what is the implication of this? Short term is that you understand what is the application process, what are the things to be done, how you have to prepare that PDF and upload the things. Second thing is that you are getting the knowledge about the research proposal from title to references, and then you can prepare a good research proposal. That is also an implication. And from this, the long-term effects can be that it can be saying you will become a good researcher. So there is a gain of knowledge. Okay, so in this way, what are the implications? So think on a bigger section or in a bigger picture, and then write these implications. Okay, so after that, the last thing is that references, use the recent references. There are the different styles. One style which ICMR suggests is the Vancouver style. It is different for the book, articles, websites, it is different. Okay, for example, author name, title, abbreviated title of journal, publication details, volume, issue number, page number, and available from that URL. Okay, so this is the example which we have given. Okay, now I know that you are confused that how to write it or how to understand it. Okay, so first thing, the solution is there are the multiple online guidelines. There are multiple online PDF for the Vancouver's referencing style. There are multiple software also. You can use it, and you can meet your guide for this Vancouver style referencing guidelines. Okay, so in this way, you have to complete this. And after you prepare this, there is one more concept, that is the plagiarism, which is the most important concept. That is the representation of the another author's language, thoughts, ideas, or expression as if one's own original work. Okay, so in a layman's term, it is exact copy to copy. Okay, so in the exam also, suppose that if you are writing the same to same answer, the examiner or the faculty can easily catch it. Why? Because you have not changed anything. Okay, so here the plagiarism is important. How to minimize it? One thing is that write the things in your own language. Okay, make your unique sentences, or frame the sentences, reframe the sentences, but use your own language. Okay, meet the guide. There are some institutional softwares, okay, to check this plagiarism, that your whole manuscript or your whole synopsis is checked by the softwares. If not available, then you can go for the Google. There are some plagiarism check softwares like the Unicheck or Scriber. Okay, so you can check it. ICMR has not mentioned exact acceptance level of this plagiarism, but standard level is below 10%. 5 to 10% is acceptable, but more than 10%, it will be a little bit difficult for the selection purpose. Okay, so dear students, we have seen how you are going to prepare the research proposal, starting from the topic selection, title, introduction, aims, objectives, methodology, implications, references, and plagiarism concept. Okay, so in the title, follow the Picot formula. In the aims objective, follow the SMART criteria. For the topic, please follow this finer criteria, so that the things will become more easy. All the best for the preparation of this research proposal. I wish that many proposals get selected, and we'll meet again for the STS report formation or report studies, how to write the reports. Okay, so thank you so much. Once again, I'm thankful to ASSOPI UP chapter for giving me the platform to express this content. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Charushira. Before moving on to the next part, I would like to welcome Dr. Sunita Tiwari ma'am, Dr. Narsingh Verma sir, and Dr. G.K. Pal sir. Welcome all. And the next session includes, in the next session, some of our students would be sharing their STS journey. Some of them have been given STS, their STS projects have been sanctioned, and on the other hand, there are some students who were not able to, get the STS project sanctioned by ICMR. So we need to have, we need to share. We should have experiences from both the lots so that we can, the other students can benefit from their experience. So I would now call upon Mr. Prashant Upadhyay. He is 2016 batch medical students from Government Medical College, Jalon, Uttar Pradesh, and he is currently doing his internship. Prashant, please.
Thank you, ma'am. And ma'am, am I audible?
Yes,
you
you
are
are
audible.
audible.
Thank you. So, hello everyone, and I'm very thankful to all the faculty members and especially Tarun for giving me this opportunity to share my experience of ICMR STS 2019, which I have done. So, basically, ICMR is a program which has started to create the interest in the field of medical research in the medical students. As we all know that there are very little or very few students who are interested in medical research, and that's why this program was started to encourage the students to involve more and more in the research field. So I belong to a peripheral medical college in Uttar Pradesh. Here also very few students were interested, and there was no environment for it. So but I was luckily, I did not know anything about the ICMR program, but I saw one of my seniors post the ICMR STS 2018, I think, yes, 2018 status. So it it gives me enthusiasm and energy, and also I was very interested to be a part in the medical research as well. So I talked to him, and I get the basic idea about what is ICMR and how do we approach it and what are the things we have to do. So after that, I analyzed the my college location is my college is located in Bundelkhand region of Uttar Pradesh, and it comes in the backward areas because their facilities are not much good in the Bundelkhand region. So so there was one topic in my mind, like Charushila ma'am has already spoken about it, that final criteria for selecting the topic. So I wanted to do something related about the antimicrobial resistance. So because as we all know that antimicrobial resistance is growing day by day, and antimicrobial stewardship programs are also there been running in the colleges, but at the ground level, frankly speaking, it is not being followed at I have resistance. So next thing was that I have to proceed to change this idea, this thought into a topic. So there are only two departments which I could think of, like one is microbiology and one is pharmacology department. But again, due to some like my college is new and it's a peripheral college, so all the resources are not available here. So experimental research works will not be feasible at this level. I decided to go with the observational study, and I choose the pharmacology department. And luckily, I got my mentor, Dr. Piyush Mishra sir, who is assistant professor in the pharmacology department in my college. And when I talked him, he was very happy to know that from this college I am interested to do this. And frankly speaking, it was my first medical research project, and it was also the first research project from my college also. So he was very supportive at each and every step of the ICMR. And then I discussed the plan, the idea with my guide, and then he suggested me to read some articles to know the knowledge gap and all that things from the PubMed and all. So because I do not know about anything before, like what how we have to write the topic, how we have to write the introduction and all those literature, and so how to write the references, how to give the references. So all things is very new for me. But I frankly speaking that I think ICMR STS program gives a best opportunity for the beginners to learn the things and simultaneously to apply the things while writing the research proposal, and if it got selected while writing in a research report as well. So I did the literature review, and then I come up with idea, and I discussed with my guide, and we finalized the topic. And my topic was like I have to do the study to assess the cost and the prescription pattern and the antimicrobials like uses, how it was prescribed, how it was being prescribed, and compared the results between the prescriptions based in our hospitals, our government medical college, and also the prescriptions which were written outside practitioners, including the BMS and all the private practitioners from the allopathic as well. So I collected the data, and I used to it was like after the proposal got selected, so I have to talk till the proposal first. So I finalized this topic, and then I write the introduction, and we decided the objectives and what will be the implications for it. As I have earlier spoken that our college belongs to a rural environment, and especially in the Bundelkhand region, and the topic which I was selected was like, it was very unique and it was very novel because in the sense that in the entire Bundelkhand, this kind of a study has not been done before. So I was like pretty sure, and I was confident, like I was not thinking about the results, and I request all of you to do not have any fear of whether it will be selected or not, whether your proposal will be selected or not. The main important thing is that how much you are learning from, how well you are applying those things in while writing the proposal, and how much you are enjoying it. Because I think ICMR STS 2009 STS program opened door to the scientific community for the beginners who are like doing the any medical research work for the first time. So I think the result is a very short reward. It is good, and it also makes you recognized, but the aim of this is not only that, because in a long term process, you will realize that ICMR STS program, while doing the ICMR research work, you will develop some qualities, and you will able to know about the basics of methodologies and what are the types of studies, how we use it, and how to write more and more proposals, and how to like be better, be good in academic writing, because academic writing does not come in one day. So, and the reading of the articles and writing goes hand in hand. So you cannot be a good writer or be a good proposal writer until you read some of the articles related to your topic. So I did all that things, and finally I supported the proposal and it got selected. And after that, I have to work on the report form. And so I used to collect all the data, all the prescription which were written in our government medical college. And meantime, I have to also collect the data from the I have forgotten to mention that I've taken the I for starting the and regarding this IC, I would like to point at one thing, that please make sure that your IC approval should contain a college stamp, because if it will not contain, it might create some problem, because in my case, my stamp was not there in first time, so I have to resubmit the IC approval. So make clear that if college has a stamp on IC approval, it will be much better. So I used to collect the data and all that. And one more learning point from here is that while if your proposal got selected, and during writing your report, you have to collect the data honestly. You don't have to fabricate the data, because it will get rejected if you will fabricate and like falsify the your data and all that things. So, and one more point is also that while doing the research work, you will realize that it is a very like it is a long term process. So if you will not be like self believe in yourself, or if you will not believe in the believe in your guide, so it is likely that you will in the mid of the time you will become saturated, and like you will not be have that same enthusiasm. So it is very important to have the self belief. And it is all myth that I am doing for the first time, whether I will able to do or not. So what I can suggest that don't think about the results, just just go and use all the resources, talk to your seniors, talk to your guide, talk to other faculty members, and all the resources in a proper way, and read the things, learn the things. Your main aim should learning the things, because it is not only one project. Okay, you have to learn the things, and when you will apply those things, it will like make you more efficient in that in the research methodologies. And in future you will have the confidence, you will have the ability and capability to reproduce the similar kind of works and to do the lot of works related to the medical research. So the same thing happens with me also. I was able to learn more of the things, like how to write the introduction, what points should be covered in the introduction, how to write the objectives, how to do the referencing, and what are the different referencing styles, what are the different types of studies. And after completing it, um, after completing the ICMR research, which was my first project, and it was also the first project from my college, after that I have written and I have done another research works, and because I have learned a lot of things from doing the ICMR project, so it helped me a lot while I was doing other research projects after completing my ICMR research work. And I have published some of it, and I have worked nearly on in all types of formats, like case reports and systematic reviews and all that things. So I think ICMR STS program is a big platform for every medical graduate, undergraduate student, to enhance its interest towards the medical research, to enhance its skills, and to use those skills in future as well. It is not only limited to the ICMR program only, or ICMR work only. So, and one more aspect I would like to talk about, like balancing the things, because when you will enter and you will start writing your doing your ICMR proposal, and so you will feel a lack of time, because meanwhile you are also a MBBS student. And when I started my project, I was in second year MBBS when I applied, and after 2 months of it, I have like my university exams. So you have to manage both the things, because if you will like you have not, you cannot, it is all about balance. You have to balance both the things, because if you will be failing in making the balance between your research work and your college exams and your studies, then it will not be a good for you. So, and it will be very like it will disrupt your mind, and it will deviate you from what you are doing. So make it clear, make a like use all your time, and divide it in two forms. Like I used to give 4 hours 4 to 5 hours per day, minimum at average 4 hours per day for my research work. And I used to learn the things in that, and I used to apply those things in the real time in my research proposal as well. So, and so I was able to like manage both the things, my academic studies, my college exams, my PCTs, and all those things which are going, and my and meanwhile I was also handling the my ICMR STS research work as well. So all this thing which I can share from you from my side is and I would also like to say that like Dr. Charu ma'am and Dr. Atul sir has wonderfully and beautifully explained all the aspects of the ICMR work. And I wish I can have had this type of panel discussion during my time. It will be very helpful if I had that. So you can use this, and remember one thing: if I can do that, you all can do that. And just one important message, that don't just do it for the recognition of your name or for getting the certificate. The most important thing is that what amount or what new things you are going to learn from this, what new basic research methodologies are you going to learn from this, and how you are using those research methodologies in your proposal. And the results is like is another thing. I don't much rate or much care about the results. So if you will not care about the results, you will enjoy doing this ICMR project, and you will smoothly do this project, and hopefully you will come up with the flying colors. And if I can do it, you can also do it. And all the best from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashant. One thing I liked about his statement, about his discussion, is that fear of rejection should not deter you from applying for the STS project. That is very important. पहले ही सोच के बैठ जाओ, कुछ नहीं हो सकता तो छोड़ दो. So that shouldn't be the case. Thank you, Prashant. Now I would invite Mr. Tarun, who is a third-year medical student at Dr. NTR University of Health Sciences, Andhra Pradesh. Mr. Tarun, is he there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there, ma'am. Yeah, good evening, respected judges and audience. So, first of all, I would like to express my sincere thanks to ASSOPI UP Chapter and Physiology Insight for giving me the opportunity. So, first of all, why we should do the ICMR STS research? Like, if we see at an undergraduate level, so the research is not so common. So while I have heard of several instances where students are very enthusiastic to do research, but while approaching the college, so they may not get the support which they will get. But when they approach the same college management that, sir, I want to do the ICMR STS research, then immediately the college feels some sort of encouragement to support the student. At the same time, the professors, even though those are busy, they will come forward to support the ICMR STS application. So the only thing is the brand. So the ICMR STS is a brand for research at an undergraduate students. So all students who are keen and enthusiastic towards research or who want to try research must apply ICMR STS. STS. So it shouldn't be like I will get certificate, I will get money. So you will get a new experience, you will get exposure to new research. So it is the main motto of the ICMR. So in order to inculcate the research culture among the undergraduate level, they started the ICMR STS. So coming to my thing, so I am an ICMR STS 2020 applicant. So but my proposal was not selected. So I was sharing my journey and my failures and what I learned from my failures and what I will suggest to the current students who are going to apply. So my topic of title is a study of antibiotic therapy for inpatients of a tertiary care hospital in India, influence of antibiogram data and microbiological surveillance of hospital environment. So how I came to this topic and how do I choose my study topic? So first of all, it was during my third sem. I just passed my first year and I went to the third sem. So it's December. So I was a huge fan of AMR. So I want to, and I was keen interest towards this. So I was reading many journals, many articles, like how could we end the AMR and how could we solve this AMR problem. So even I have taken the same topic as my STS research project. So immediately microbiology came into my mind. So I went to the microbiology department and I have discussed it with the HOD. So madam suggested one as professor. So I have gone to the professor, and then professor and I discussed it about like what exactly my ideas I shared to the professor, and professor has given his inputs like the topic is good, but we need to brainstorm it little. So at that point of time, I has no awareness about this methodology or what is study design, what is sample says, almost zero idea at that point of time. So not much idea about it. So my guide has helped me for that. He understand my level of knowledge on research, and he guided me in making it better methodology. So as you know, the proposal format, so I have prepared in the same proposal format, and I have applied to the I have submitted my proposal. But I was very sure, I am very confident, so that I will definitely get be selected because like the my college professors has hailed me for the topic and the thing, and those all are confident. And my microbiology HOD ma'am has given the same topic to few of their PGs as some for medal exams. So I was very confident, and I'm the first applicant from my college to apply ICMR in that year. So I was waited for the results, and I am 100% confident that it will get selected. But when the results came, my number was not there. My ID, I was little shocked. But I haven't checked what mistakes I have done. But when I am waiting for the next turn since 1 year. Last year they haven't opened, but now they open. Immediately after opening this call, I have checked my old proposal, and I have once gone through this. My level of knowledge on research was different at that point of time, at this point of time. So I have just gone through the proposal once again, and I found the first major mistake is the references. My references was not in Vancouver style. So that was the first mistake I done. So the thing which I have learned from this is how much topic novel your topic is, or how much uh, good your implications or methodology is. But if you are not followed the basic guidelines of a proposal, like mentioning word limit or the reference style, so it is high chances that they will reject. So initial checking, you should pass these all initial checkings. When you cross these initial checkings, next it will come, okay, how he written the proposal. But if you haven't followed the proper guidelines, author guidelines, I mean proposal guidelines, then there are high chances your proposal gets selected. So then I checked my introduction, the word limit, and etc. My intro was good, aims and objectives was clear and to the point, methodology was good. It was satisfactory. But now I feel we may change the methodology if little bit if possible, I thought, especially at the sample size. Because I think I have taken the random sampling size instead of random sampling. If I could use any formula, it would be more better, I felt. uh, and implications were good, rest all were perfect. So I'm thinking the major reason why my proposal got selected is rejected is the only reason is not following the proper guidelines. So make sure that you will follow the proper guidelines. And also after even I have discussed with my colleagues who have got selected their proposals, I have asked their proposals, I have looked over their proposals, what made them selected, what make them mind rejected. And so what I can suggest few, like what ICMR will look into research proposal for selection. So one is the implication. So if you don't express proper implications, so then there are high chances you won't get selected. And the methodology, so methodology is the key part, right? So make sure you took the proper sampling method, calculate the sample size effectively. So don't be afraid, like as Charulata ma'am said. So approach like first year and second year students like me at that point of time, who don't know biostatistics, studied biostatistics, don't know about all this, or who are new to research, don't know all this. So discuss with guide. So sometimes guides are maybe busy, so they are clinicians, they are academicians, they need to manage both. So the better way is approach any seniors who have already done ICMR, or approach SPM faculty, PSM faculty. Those will guide you much better. So and it's not like that you this type of research subjects are this type of research topics will only get selected. Like I have discussed with few students expressed that this subject uh, topics only selected. It's not like that. Any ICMR don't look into like that. Any topic will be selected if it's good in terms of all aspects and all criteria which they have mentioned. And regarding COVID-19 as a topic of selection, like many people have asked me that, like, can we take COVID-19 as a topic because we can get more number of samples? Like if you see, the study period will be mostly in August or September, I think, after June or July, some 2 months you need to see. So please keep in mind that at that point of time, how the COVID-19 will be. So if you taking COVID-19, if there won't be ample number of cases at that point of time, again you may feel the lack of sample. So make sure keep the study period in mind, and make sure the disease you are taking or the patients you are taking are well available during the 3 months or 2 months study period which you are going to collect the sample size. So that's the thing you need to keep in mind. And before applying, just cross check all the details, and then you can start applying. And what if your ICMR proposal is not selected? So don't stop if your proposal is not selected. Approach the department, complete the study, take ethical approval, complete the study. Then you can even present it in any conferences, you can publish it in any journal, and that's it. And also, like, there is another concern from few of my students is like, am I less like to get selected if there are more people applying from my college? If so, how can I make my project stand out? It's not like that ICMR will see like there are 10 applicants from a specific college, and I shouldn't select all 10 even though they are all good at what criteria we have made. So if a college sent 100 proposals, let us assume, if the 100 were according to the guide criteria, passed the guidelines, and they are scored good from the panel of the screening panel, the 100 will get selected. So don't think that my college 110 people are applying, if I am applying I may not get selected. So please apply, go with the flow. And our madam has already covered what type of topics were given preference, etc. So that's all from my end. So thank you once again for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Tarun. And yes, very rightly said by Tarun that even if your project gets rejected for STS ICMR funding, you must take it to the next scholarly level. You should take ethical clearance. You should complete your project and get it presented in a conference and get it published. So that is very important. Nahi hua, wahi chhod do, so that is not done. Fine. Okay, now I would invite Mr. Shyam Chaitanya. He is a second year MBBS student at Government Institute of Medical Sciences, Greater Noida. He would like to share his STS journey with us. We are again a newly established college. The first batch came to us in 2019, and we were lucky that 3 of our projects got sanctioned in the very first go. So Shyam.
Yeah, thanks a lot, ma'am. Good evening, respected dignitaries and faculties. I'm Shyam Chaitan, a student of Government Institute of Medical Sciences, Greater Noida, pursuing my MBBS, currently in second year, just appeared in the university examination. I got my STS project selected in 2020. Earlier, I was doing it under the Sharma sir. Currently, he is working as a professor in AIIMS Rajkot, and due to his transfer, I got my STS project transferred under the Bharti Bhandari Rathore ma'am, and she is my principal investigator nowadays. And my topic was effect of resonance breathing on heart rate variability and cognitive functions in young adults, a randomized controlled trial. Actually, it was a very tedious a job. Later on, I realized that it is a very tough at this stage to have such parameters, to have such a tedious statistic and analyze them at this level. I analyzed various parameters like stress parameter and cognitive function while doing trail making test. I also had a plan to just get the visual and the auditory reaction time. And as per my experiences, I won't take much time. If you're submitting STS project, then you should be very careful about methodology. If your study is going to involve some kind of intervention, although it is a non-invasive one, it would be good for you. Interventional study design like randomized control trial, both single blind approach as well as double blinded approach will be very feasible for you. And one thing more which I want to emphasize here, among all the respected faculties. If a student is familiar with some sort of computer sciences, then you may use some open sources like Python to generate various interaction between the data which you get from your research. So this is the very new thing. And nowadays in 21st centuries, if we are limiting ourselves only to the medical sciences, only to one subject, and it would not be very much familiar with the science. Nowadays, each and every branches of science are going to converge. Nowadays, electrical engineers are going to make some neuron models. So you may use their insights also while analyzing, while giving your inputs or while writing your research proposal. Personally, I use MATLAB to analyze my data of heart rate variability. While doing STS, methodology is a very important prospect, and you should be very precise for the types of test. Actually, as earlier, Dr. Charushila ma'am has been said that you should be very much particular about your test, about the biostatistics. So if at this stage, when you just join the medical college, you're not very much aware of the biostatistics. So for the biostatics, you may join some NPTEL courses. There are the various courses present present at the NPTEL or the SWAYAM website. By joining them, you may get the insight of the what is the biostatistic, what is the p-test. We just used to write we are going to calculate p-test, but what the insight of that particular p-test, what is the insight of t-test, when we should go for the intergroup testing, when we should go for the standard deviation curve, when we should go for the sigma plot or whatsoever. So I think first, just take the baby steps, just go and learn the basics of the biostatistics. Then you will be awakened at that moment. You will be realizing more and more sorts of data. You will be analyzing more and more sorts of interaction. You will be analyzing more and more sorts of relation between A and to B. It's like functions and relation in the mathematics. So it is a journey, and you should make your research proposal very exuberant. You should make it a very, just very catchy. If you are going to write something and you are actually using various parameters from different streams of the sciences, one from the medical sciences, physiology point of view, one from the electrical point, it is going to be this, then it should be very much helpful for you. And one thing which I want to say, nowadays very open sources, open sources are available on the internet. Just plethora of opportunities are there. You have the various softwares are available to generate various data, to analyze the different connections between the neurons. Stanford University, California University are doing very best among them to giving you various software just free of cost. So just utilize them, and this is just a journey. Just enjoy the journey, and thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for giving me a chance.
Thank you, Shyam. And as he rightly said, one should go for various courses on statistics, but obviously we have to take the time into constraints are always there with a medical student. He has to work, really he has to appear for so many examinations, so many tests, and at the same time he has to complete his research work. So even if he's not able to undergo these courses, the guide is always there to help him, right? Hope you got some help from your guide. Okay. Moving on to the next session, question answer session, and I would like to call upon Dr. Yes, Dr. Reena Rani to start the question answer session.
Thank you, Bharti ma'am. So let's proceed for the question answer session. And my question is for Atul sir. First question. So sir, when do the STS registration begin, and what is the last date for the registration? Am I audible?
Yeah.
You are
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah.
I have just unmuted myself. Registration has already begun. So it has been started by 21st of January and it is going to be completed by this one, 11th of February 2022 by 5 p.m. So registration is up to 11th of February.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Now the next question is for the Charu ma'am. Ma'am, how should a student should choose the topic for the research?
Okay.
Yeah.
Ma'am, already I have discussed that how to choose the topic. So for my first suggestion is first go to the first areas which has already been on the website of the ICMR. From this first area, enlist your list and then meet the guide, meet the seniors. Already Tarun and Prashant and Sham has discussed that they have taken a help of the seniors, guide, and then academicians, and then you can conclude, narrow down your point, and then you can prepare. But the finer criteria should be followed to fulfill your expectations, because you have to do it in this 2 months. Okay, so you have to see that finer criteria is fulfilled. Okay, in this way you can go for the topic.
Thank you, ma'am. Now the next question is for Mr. Tarun. If a student is not having his own email ID, can he use his friends or parents' email ID for the registration?
It is ideal that the student should create a new email ID in case he doesn't have an email ID. So it's better to create an email ID. I won't suggest to using any friends or parents. So creating an email ID is very easy. So they can create it and they can use the same for the registration purpose.
Okay, thank you. Now the next question is for Mr. Prashant. If a student has successfully registered for STS, so can he or she, change his register details? Is it possible?
Yes, ma'am. He or she can change the registration details during the time of proposal submission. But after the proposal submission, it is difficult to change the details and especially the email ID. But he or she can try by sending an email to like STSHRD 2017@gmail.com. He or she can send the email and requesting for the changes after the proposal submission as well.
Thank you. Now the next question is for Atul sir. Sir, can one guide take 2 students or can submit 2 projects for STS?
No, it is already clearly mentioned by ICMR that the ratio should be 1:1 itself. So 1 guide and 1 student. 2 students, 1 guide, the proposal is going to get rejected. So it is 1:1 ratio.
Okay. Then sir, the next question is, what are the types of attestation forms needed?
Actually, 2 forms are being there. One is your application attestation form that has to be submitted when you are going to give your proposal submission, and second is your report attestation form that has to be given when you are going to submit the report. So it has to be submitted by end of the completion of your project.
Okay, thank you, sir. And so the next question is, in part B, the guide details, they are to be filled by the guide or self?
It can be filled by students itself, but it is better to take the guidance from the guide also. As such, there is no such criteria that whether it has to be only by the student or guide. So both can fill the details.
Okay, thank you. Now the next question is for the Charu ma'am. Can two students, they can, submit a same proposal, can work on a same proposal?
No.
Jointly?
No, jointly they cannot do the same project.
Okay. Then ma'am, next question is, if a student is successfully registered for the STS, then how can he submit the proposal? What is the process of submission?
Now, submission is the he have registered or she have registered. Now the part BCD. In this part BCD, after guide details, after enclosures, uploading the enclosures, there is a part D in which you have to prepare one PDF of all these documents of the research proposal, and then you have to upload it. There are specific guidelines that how much MB should be there of this PDF, size of this PDF file.
Okay, thank you. Then ma'am, the next question is, can a project be a part of larger project of students guide, which is ongoing and has been approved by the ethics committee?
Yes, suppose that guide is going, there is an ongoing project of the guide. Then the small part can be taken as a STS proposal for the student. But the thing is that the student role should be explained clearly. And the thing is that for the this purpose, the separate ethical committee clearance should be there.
Okay. Then the next question is like, if the proposal is not selected for the present year, can it be applied again?
Yes, yes, definitely. In the next year, again, you have to go with this same competition.
Okay. Then, ma'am, what are the identifying details which should be removed from the proposal or the report?
The student should not mention the name, your college name, your guide name, your email ID, your mobile number, all the personal details and this official things that should not be mentioned by any terms in the proposal.
Okay.
It will be automatically rejected then.
Okay. Then, ma'am, the next question is, can a student work with, I mean, in collaboration with another medical college?
Yes, if it is nearby, then definitely the student can take a help of the nearby institutes. But the thing is that it should be mentioned into the proposal also. And if it is a medical college, then you have to take the permission or ethical clearance from that college also. Here, then the student have to submit 2 ethical approval letters.
Okay, ma'am. And then, ma'am, another question is like, can the clinical trial protocol be submitted?
No new drug, new medical device, or nothing, because these are the just start for the undergraduates. So first, this is the basic research studies are expected.
Then the next question is for Mr. Tarun. How will the student know that the online registration is completed or successful? How he is acknowledged?
Yeah, once the student has registered, he can see on the computer screen itself that the registration was successfully completed, and the email which he used while the registration, he will get an email from ICMR which includes his STS ID also. In current website, if you see, the ICMR has requested to kindly wait for 48 hours to get their registration details, STS ID, because of high workflow. If even though after 48 hours, if they didn't get their registration ID, then they can email to the ICM, this STS HRD 2017@gmail.com.
Okay. And the next question is, if while uploading the proposal, if the refresh button is clicked, then there is some error. Now, what should be done to rectify that?
After successful completion, they will get an automatic message as well an email for the for their email address which they have used while registration. So it is advised to not press any refresh button while uploading or when the submission process is going on.
Okay, thank you. Then the next question is for Mr. Prashant. If the registered email ID is blocked or it is, forgotten, now what can be done next?
Regarding the
again.
Ma'am, if we will register again with another email ID or with the same email ID, it will be detected by the softwares there at the ICMR site, and it will automatically delete that registration. So for this, the student can only do that. They can send an email and contact to the ICMR and request for another for clearing the previous application or previously given email ID.
Okay. Then the next question is for Mr. Prashant. If any query, if the student is facing any type of queries, whom should he contact?
The contact is already mentioned on the ICMR website, and there is one email ID that is stshRD2017@gmail.com. The student can send the email and request him for any query. And also, Dr. Atul sir has shown the the different persons to whom contact in different queries.
Okay, thank you. Now the next question is for Mr. Tarun, that if the student is trying to submit the proposal and he is not able to, he's clicking on the STS and it's not working. Now, how he should proceed?
Yeah, it may be the reason that the STS site online link is blocked at the current
Yeah.
locality or
What
at
can
their
be done?
institution or hostel region, maybe
Yeah.
due to some security issues. So in such cases, they can request the network administrator to unblock the IP address, or they can go to some other place and try.
Okay, thank you. Now I would like to invite Mr. Shreyas Purbani to further carry on the question answer session.
Thank you so much, Dr. Reena ma'am.
Thank
So our first question is for Dr. Atul sir. So Dr. Atul sir, can a student whose ICMR STS project has been selected in the previous year and stipend has been released, so he can reapply for the ICMR STS 2022 program before appearing for the final year exams?
No, not at all. Once your project is being selected and this stipend is being awarded, student may not be able to apply for another project.
Thank you so much, sir. So there is a similar question. So can a student whose ICMR STS report is in the phase of review as for the year of 2020, so can he apply for the ICMR STS 2022 registration program?
As if now he can apply, but if in case the reports or the results are being declared and in that case report is being selected, his name will be automatically deleted.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So our next question is for Dr. Charushila ma'am. So can a parent, if working as a faculty in the same college, become a guide for his or her child?
Actually, ideally, it should not be because there are the conflict of interest. So better to avoid, but authority can decide the things. Institutional ethical committee can take a decision.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. So our next question is for Mr. Prashant. So how to combine and merge files into one PDF? That is a technical question.
You can use the available softwares from the Google, and what you have to keep in mind that you have to keep the PDF file size less than 1 MB, because if you exceed that limit, it will create problem and it will be rejected.
Okay, thank you so much. So there is a similar question. So how to reduce the file size less than 1 MB?
Again, there are many softwares which can compress the PDF files, but you should not reduce the file too much that its visibility and all that gets affected. You have to reduce it a little bit so that it is less than 1 MB.
Okay, thank you so much. So our next question is for Tarun. Tarun sir, so I have forgotten my password to log in for STS. What should I do in this case?
Yeah, they can simply click on forgot password so that they can get the link to reset password to the same email ID.
Okay, thank you so much. So our next question is for Atul sir. So will the efforts of guides be recognized? So you're on mute. So
Please
you are.
unmute yourself, Dr. Atul.
Yeah. Why not? Obviously, he will be awarded because ICMR will be issuing the certificate mentioning the student name as well as the guide.
Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So there is a similar question. So do we have to send this methodology and other stuff now or after acceptance of the proposal?
When you are being preparing for the research proposal, it is already being incorporated as a part of a research proposal. So it has to be submitted when initially itself.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So our next question is for Charushila ma'am. So I would be appearing for my final year exams in the month of April. So can I apply for the ICMR STS program this year?
No.
Okay, ma'am. So our next question is for.
No, sorry to interrupt. Actually, recently, few of the students have emailed to the email
Yes.
to the ICMR STS. They
Yes.
have mentioned that if they are appearing the final exams before, if they are not appearing for the final year exams before submitting the proposal.
Yes, what the ICMR have said that before submitting the research proposal, your final exam should be over. Before submitting this research report, the final exam should be over because the interns are not allowed to do this project.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes, interns are not allowed.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for addressing the same. So there is a similar question which is also in the chat box. What does ICMR look for in a research proposal for selection? Which factors determine the selection?
Factor determine the selection. First thing, as all of us suggested, that the proper guidelines should be followed. The topic should be the interesting. It should not be plagiarized much. So the standard guidelines should be followed.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. So our next question is for Atul sir. So if by chance my selected topic has already been selected and researched upon, will it be considered, and how to proceed further in this case?
No, I'm not getting this. Please repeat the question.
Sure, sir. So if by chance my selected topic has already been researched previously, so in that case, how to proceed further? How the ICMR considers this and how to proceed further? That is
Means it if it is being already being selected and it is being put for the submission.
Yes.
In that case.
Yes.
So it is okay, but once if it is being selected again and the student is being applying for another time, that will be automatically getting cancelled by ICMR.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So our next question is for Prashant. So can I carry out the research work for more than 2 months?
No, actually, ICMR is very strict regarding the timelines and regarding the dates. So you should follow. You should have to strictly follow those guidelines regarding the dates specifically.
Thank you so much, Prashant. So the final question, which is there in the Zoom chat box, is for Tarun. So survey and patient study, if conducted, can be from hospitals other and then mine. That is something which has been put forward in the chat box. That is, it is interpreting like surveys and patient studies can be conducted from our hospital or it can be online.
Yeah, can you repeat once?
Sure. So the surveys and patient studies which are being conducted should be from our respective hospitals, or that can be also conducted online.
Yeah, online we can do, like that's ethical approval committee which will decide it whether you are following proper things. The ethical approval will given for the online data collection. But if it comes to an hospital based or institution based, so according to the ethical approval committee, it should be taken from the institution where you will get the ethical approval. Suppose if you want to collect data from any other hospital or any nearby hospital, you should get an ethical approval from their hospital or from their institution too.
Okay, thank you so much, Tarun. Our final question, which has been just came in the Zoom chat box, the chat box of YouTube Live. So can I choose a topic on which a lot of research has already been done? Atul sir?
It can be, but it has to be somewhat different and catchy for the this one, for the persons.
True that, sir. So that brings me to the end of question and answer session. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you so much, all our ICMR previous access scholars and ma'am. So I further hand it over to Bharti ma'am to carry further with the proceeding.
Thank you, Shreyash. And we have with us some stalwarts from the field of physiology. So I would request them to shower their words of wisdom on us. So may I invite...
Ma'am, should I want to intervene over here?
Yes.
I just got a phone call from Sunita ma'am that her battery is draining out and there is some electrical issue at her place at present. So if the house permits, Narsingh Verma sir and GK Pal sir, can we invite Sunita ma'am first for her talk, so that if her battery drains out, then it will not be possible for her. I invite...
Yes, please go ahead. Yeah. Dr. Sunita madam can be present, can be spoken. Actually, she can be invited at the beginning.
Yeah,
please go ahead.
Yeah. Sunita ma'am, please.
Ma'am, please.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Amit, to have intervened today. It was such an enlightening. Thank you so much, Dr. Bhandari, Bharti Bhandari. And I'm not putting my video on. I hope you people can hear me.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am,
ma'am.
you're audible.
Okay. I don't think I need to put the video on because all of you have seen me earlier on the screen, but something is wrong with the thing is draining. So I'll just go ahead with my comments. At the outset, I must congratulate all the speakers in fact, even the students who spoke so well, so confidently for this extensive, elaborate definition of STS and the nuances which is required in writing an STS project by the students. It's really very nice because what we see that majority of the students, we have 250 students at a time, and majority of them are not aware. And most of the faculty in many of the medical colleges, which are coming up at various centers in the state as well as outside the state, they are not aware of this STS project and how to inculcate interest in research so far as the students are concerned. Because faculty themselves, if they are not in that research, they will never be able to inculcate or generate interest in the students. So I must congratulate the whole team, starting with Amit, then Charushila, Dr. Charushila, Dr. Atul, and of course the students, Dr. Tarun, Shyam, Prashant, and many others who are probably they are watching us on YouTube live. And I think this is a very good endeavor for the student, for the students and by the students, I must say, because most of them are students who are giving tips how to get into how to write an STS project. We have done it so many times. Our students have been getting projects, but these nuances were never so elaborately discussed any time earlier. I would add one more thing, that more such lectures or series of lectures on ethical issues should also be organized by ASSOPI members, and especially our team of Insight Physiology for the PGs and even the faculty members. Like what is plague check? What is plagiarism check? Most of the students and some of the new faculties who have just got a job in a new medical college, they do not know. But the question arises, the most important question here is how this information or about the lectures, which is so extensive and so fruitful, be given, how this information be imparted or disseminated to all the students. As many as, like you have said, it is YouTube live. I agree. But many students who are not aware that this thing is on can never be there. Has it been recorded and put on the YouTube? Can somebody clarify this? Bharti, if you can.
I have no idea about it.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, it is already YouTube live. So with this link, the student can see tomorrow also, day after tomorrow also. So it is. It will be on the YouTube
the
live.
clouds. Anybody can watch later on. No problem.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It will be there. It will be there, and it will be also there on the YouTube channel of Physiology Insight.
Great. That is great. And I'm very proud of your efforts, Amit, and the whole team. And I think this should continue, and I'll definitely be a part of it as and when required. Thank you so much.
All the credit goes to ma'am, this young team, Charushila, Reena, and all the young thing that we have for Physiology inside, and it's all under your guidance, Verma sir's guidance, and GK Pal sir's guidance. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. For
Dr.
kind
Bharti,
words.
ma'am, please take over.
Yes, yes. Thank you, ma'am, for your kind words. Now, I would request Professor G.K. Pal, sir. He is Dean JIPMER and Secretary General, Association of Physiologists of India. May I request him to share his words of wisdom with us? Sir, please.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You're audible.
Yeah, okay. Good evening, all of you. It is really gives me a great pleasure to be part of this program. Initially, I was thinking on a Sunday whether I'll be able to get connected and participate in this. Anyhow, respected my dear Professor Narsingh, Professor Sunita Tripathi, Dr. Bharati Bhandari Rathore, and Amit, Charusila, and all my good friends, Rina, Atul, and all my dear students. It is indeed a moment of great happiness for me. I'll tell you. Before participating in this, I was thinking, actually, I was not knowing what is this. Honestly speaking, that day Amit contacted me and I just agreed. That time actually I was not in Pondicherry. I was outside Pondicherry. I was in a meeting somewhere, and somehow I could, make myself available. But I'm really so happy that after listening to all the speakers and especially the interactions presented by the students, especially the students that you have selected, the right selection actually. A student whose proposal was selected, and student whose proposal was not selected, and another student from a advanced institute where research is regularly done, and really their presentations are much more interesting. I mean, Charusila and Pratul, they spoke so well, but listening to students, those who have done it, it gives a different kind of experience to the newcomers. Especially, I'm telling you my experience. I'll share some of my experience. Actually, I have guided around 13 or 14 ICMR students and 8 KVPY project students. KVPY, that is which is nowadays stopped actually, Kishore Vaigyanik Protsahan Yojana. It was there actually earlier, and this was actually of the yes, and they stopped it actually. A time was there when I was guiding ICMR and KVPY together also. Then I was this was up to 2010-11. Then after that, I was appointed one of the reviewer for this ICMR students project. Then because of the conflict of interest, I stopped taking students. Then with my increasing load of administrative works and many other works, responsibilities, I also opt out for the reviewer's job. So I have gone through the journey, and for your information, I'll tell you, when I was a student, this is long before, in a medical student, I did one undergraduate project, and that actually gave me the real insight into the research of to be conducted by a student and research in medicine. And for information of all of you, that work, what I did actually, that was under the guidance of a microbiology professor, that was published. And that actually gave me the real enthusiasm for research. And I'll tell you what actually I am today in research, all because I had done a project during my MBBS career, and I got so much of the inner inspiration that I must do something in research. I was very good in medicine. When I joined physiology, my all colleagues, they were just wondering what he has become mad or what, topper in the batch and joined physiology. but I came to physiology by choice, actually, by predilection, because I really wanted to do research. And that is why I selected also an institute where I can do research. That is how I joined JIPMOR, where is a research institute. But what actually I'm telling you, a student who is good in research is good in study, and also vice versa. A student who is good in study is also good in research. And this thing, what I have learned from this journey as a student, then as a junior faculty, then as a mid-level faculty, senior faculty, as a guide, as a reviewer, and now as an administrator, because we approve the proposals at the institute level. The most important part, I'll tell you, is actually the student selecting the guide. That is very important. And also the vice versa, the guide selecting the student. Because a student who is interested should be really selected. I mean, the guide has to spend little more time. Many students will come and approach you. You have to find out the student who is really interested, who has the enthusiasm and motivation and commitment. Because time limit, and because of the budget limit, and also the constraints of a student when he's writing his exam, and just after exam, during the vacation, it is to be done. Earlier, it was actually the named as summer vacation project, because usually it was done in the after completion of your study during the vacation, which falls during the summer. It was called summer vacation. Now it is actually the in the I think month of July, August, September. There is the time you have to do now. So a student also has to select a guide. A student has to know actually in the middle, or maybe even early, lose hope and get out of it. So a student should be really little clever in selecting a guide who has experience, a guide really who can give time, a guide who has interest. I'm telling you why this now, because only a few amount is sanctioned by ICMR, and that too after completion of the work, not at the beginning. So a guide who has other projects, a guide who is already into the research, a guide who has got some funding, a guide who has a lot of PhD students or MD students with him, who can actually guide the student. Usually seniors, they may not directly guide you, but a senior researcher will have his laboratory, will have his PhD student, will have his MD students, and also will have some extramurally and intramurally. So all these will take care of the junior undergraduate student. Therefore, a student selecting a guide is very important, I'm telling you. Of course, as I said, a guide selecting a student. But listening to all of you, I'm really thrilled. I mean, a lot of things have improved, a lot of things have changed. And this topic should have been little, this is my request to Amit, you should have little notified it earlier. And it should have been, circulated to all, with the proper objective of what is going to happen. Even I was not knowing, I'm telling you. After sitting here and listening to you for last maybe more than 2.5 hours, I came to know what is the theme and the the objective of this seminar or webinar. This is such an interesting topic. Really, this and the students will be much more benefited by the teachers. It should have been done little early. It should have been circulated to all. Should have been informed to all, especially about the. You have circulated in all WhatsApp group, but then the objective of the this program was not conveyed to everybody. I mean, of course, it will be there in the your YouTube for many more days or weeks or months. But live program is always live, and people should have this actually live. And in addition to that, it should have been done on a this. I don't know. Always you conduct a program on Sundays, but Sunday is a really too busy day. It is the only day we do our pending works, personal work, and I do that actually. I'm telling you, and it becomes really difficult to participate on Sundays. In future, actually, you can do such program on a working day, maybe in the evening. That is okay. but the stakeholders should have been well informed, because finally they should, the message should reach them. The students should have been really highly benefited from this. They will be benefited. They will see in the YouTube. Nowadays, YouTube is more, accessible than anything else. So you have done a very good job, and it will be really, it has become a nice program. But only thing I was a little interested that everybody should have been intimated. I have two more messages before I hand over to Professor Narsingh Verma. He is a great clinical physiologist who will speak, a lot of inputs he will give, and he has also a lot of experiences. So before he speaks, I have two more inputs from my side to be given to the audience. Apart from all actually what you have spoken about, the methodology, the topic and all, I'm telling you, sitting as a reviewer, what we see, the most important is hypothesis. What is the hypothesis of the work? When I say hypothesis, it is not just a hypothesis or a null hypothesis. It is the scientific basis of hypothesis. Why you have taken up this work, and what is the scientific basis of this work? Number one. Number two, the novelty of the work. Somebody was asking, whether the work that have already been done, the works that have been published, whether you can work on those topics. Not at all. You must work on something which should be really novel. Why I'm telling you, the ICMR looks at, even if it is a simple work, but it should be really new. The newness of the study depends on the scientific hypothesis, the scientific basis of your hypothesis. And scientific basis of hypothesis comes actually after a thorough review of literature, which a student cannot do. That is why I told you, a student should be wise to select a guide, because finally guide gives you the topic. And in my knowledge and my experience, a clinically oriented topic is more appreciated. Maybe it is more appreciated than non-interventional. Even non-interventional, clinically oriented topic, clinically based topic is more appreciated and approved. Especially, India being, huge number of patients everywhere, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, asthma, arthritis, and so on. I'll tell you, you should select a topic which is, which is some link to patients, and you tap the, huge number of patients available in your hospital. Just find out. People say that in diabetes, a lot of work has been done. I'll tell you, in diabetes, a lot of works have not been done actually. You just go through any research article and little focus, you will find actually many things will come up from the your review. A lot of works have not been done actually. So one has to really find out a scientific basis of hypothesis, and it should be clinically based topic. And one more message I would like to give, which we make a mistake in physiology, I have seen actually, the sample size. They think that is the ICMR project, just maybe 15, 20, 25 patients we do something and we submit. People even don't think patients. They just think in something normative data, obesity, something on some blood pressure related to something, and they submit a proposal. Your proposal may be approved, but I am interested, as a real researcher, where the final objective is a good publication. From your work, you should be able to really publish in a PubMed index journal. Wherever you go, first they see actually, in wherever you go, for a interview, for faculty recruitment, even SR interview, they see how many publications you have PubMed indexed and non-PubMed indexed. So the PubMed indexed publication should happen from the ICMR work, I'm telling you. And the novelty of the work, the hypothesis of the work, and the sample size. Sample size should be at least more than 50. And it will be nice actually if we can do 100. Actually getting diabetic patients, getting hypertensive patients, heart failure patients, or even asthma, anything. You won't have deficiency of the patients. Of course, due to COVID, there are restrictions. COVID has really created a lot of problems for the researchers. We are really struggling to complete our PhD students' work, MD students' work, our the project works, 100 projects work. we are really struggling. But in spite of that, I will request that the sample size should be little more, even if the students work for 2-3 months work, because finally your publication depends on sample size, and there should be little parameters which is molecular. No, I mean really something little more, so that at the end of it you publish it. I'll tell you, the students, you select a student who should be really involved in recruitment, and student may be also taught how to learn to do the investigations, but the rest of the work is done by support from the guide. Guide will have his setup, guide will have his own laboratory staff and all. They really help a student learn actually, and it can be done very well within 2 to 3 months. You have to little prepare in advance, and finally your proposal, the report also has to be approved. Not only the protocol has to be approved, then you do it. Finally, your report also has to be approved. So that also has to happen. But I am telling you, after that, the publication. So with this, with a few words, I really appreciate the entire team, Amit, Professor Bharti, Charusila, Atul, Rina, and all my best wishes. I'm really so happy you have done such a wonderful program. This program should reach the discussion what we have made here, what we have really more than 2.5 hours. It should reach the stakeholders, especially the students and also the junior faculty. They do not know actually what is how to select a topic and how the a work has to be implemented. So all my best wishes, and I'll be happy if some questions are there I can address. Thank you. Hand over to Professor Burma. I think he also, I'm ready to listen to my dear friend Professor Burma.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your experience as a guide with all our attendees and for appreciating our efforts. Now, I now request Professor Narsingh Verma, sir, Head Department of Physiology, KGMU, and President ASSOPI, for sharing his words of wisdom on all the one present. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Bharti, coordinator of the program, Dr. G.K. Pal, my good friend, Professor Sunita Tiwari, madam, and other organizers, Dr. Charushila, Dr. Amit, Dr. Atul, and I can see Dr. Anil Gangwar, and students, Prashant Upadhyay, and the other students who have Tarun, sharing their wisdom to other students.
Good evening, sir.
I will like to just say that the idea that the medical students should be involved in the research was initiated by Physiology. I still remember 40 years back, one of the students who was studying at GSBM Kanpur came to my place, Lucknow, for research, and he was awarded Harish Gupta Prize in the next year conference. And he was doing the work, only very simple work. He performed spirometry in the swimmers of Lucknow city. And the original thought was that swimming is the exercise, then the lungs will be most benefited organ, because those who swim, they require a lot of training of the duration and the lung function will improve. So that idea was perceived, and he got the best prize, Harish Gupta Prize for undergraduate. So physiology has always been there, and I'm very glad ASSOPI has taken this step, and there was nobody to guide at that time. We individually were doing that, but now the association has taken a step, very, I will say it is a very good step, and students will definitely be benefited. And it is our duty to percolate this knowledge and make this YouTube knowledge which has come to percolate to the students. Then they will be beneficiary. And I'm very hopeful this year ICMR will get a lot of more proposals. A lot has been said. Nothing more is required. I will just like to thank you all for organizing this event. And in the future, the word of wisdom by Dr. G.K. Pal, that we require more publicity so that the end users can be benefited. And it is the duty of our teachers. And Dr. Atul Radakar has already told that the dates he had mentioned, the knowledge should percolate and large number of students can apply. Then only the competition will be there. The students are asking one thing to me, that sir, only few are getting the award. What will happen to those who are not getting award? At least the research will be done. So I just appeal to my fellow members, help them. You have a lot of sponsorship, you have a lot of other resources by which you can help them. And it is the matter that they should learn the research, not the money. Money is not that important. And every department has got some these type of research proposals they can develop, and they can do it by their own resources. The ICMR award is just a matter of fact. So with this, I would like to end here because I have to join another meeting sharp at 7:30. So I'm very sorry. I would have talked much, but the time does not permit me because there is a lecture at Bihar, Jharkhand, RSSDI. I have to deliver a lecture. So I will like to thank you all for that. And we will definitely learn more in the coming time. And every speaker has done a wonderful job, including the students. I would like to thank you all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
sir.
so much for taking out time from your busy schedule. And now we come to the conclusion of this program. And I would request Dr. Anil Gangwar to propose the vote of thanks.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Good evening to one and all present over here. And on behalf of organizing committee, it's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I wish to express my sincere thanks and gratitude to President ASSOPI, Professor Narsingh Verma sir, General Secretary ASSOPI, Professor G.K. Pal sir, and President ASSOPI UP Chapter, Professor Sunita Tiwari ma'am, who graced the occasion and to take out time in spite of their busy schedule and guide us by their word of wisdom. Thank you for the inspiring and encouraging us with your words on this special day. Once again, thank you for motivating words. And a big thank you for all the speakers, Dr. Atul, Dr. Charushila, Dr. Prashant, Mr. Prashant, and Mr. Tarun for their effort toward how to register and how to select a topic for ICMR STS proposal, and how to conduct STS research throughout the way. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation to Dr. Reena Rani Verma madam for well and informative question answer session conducted by her. I also express my gratitude to Professor Amit Khan sir and Dr. Bharti Bhandari madam for providing encouragement. An event like this cannot happen overnight. एक रात में आप नहीं कर सकते ये सब कुछ हुआ है, लेकिन ठीक है within a week ये चीज event organize हुआ है, लेकिन it's because of all our teammates. The wheel start rolling week ago. It requires planning and bird's eye view. शॉर्ट पीरियड में हमें कुछ काम करना है तो ये bird's eye view बहुत जरूरी है कि हमें फोकस करना है कि हमें यही चीज करना है. And we have fortunate to be backed by a team of motivated and dedicated colleagues. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to place on record our hearty thanks to ASSOPI and ASSOPI UP chapter for their support, guidance, and enormous cooperation in organizing of this event. It is very important to thank all the participants and volunteers who made this event even more graceful and glorified. We are thankful to you for hearing every speaker with full concentration So I offer my gratitude to my audience. And once again, thank you to one and all present over here. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam.
Anil, actually, I missed you actually. I didn't know that you are available. That is why I didn't mention you in my.
No, sir. Sir, आप लोगों का थोड़ा सा आशीर्वाद ही हमारे लिए काफी है. हमने देख लिया.